Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning. This is your host, Llorraine Neithardt, and you have reached Venus Unplugged. And what we do here is talk about all things Venusian, archetypal Venus, the principles of love, sometimes the Heartbreak Hotel, where we learn to move our wounds to wisdom, hopefully, or at least the possibility that there is wisdom in the middle of those heartbreaks, or most of all, our misunderstanding of what Venus is and what we expect. Because it doesn't always happen that way. It's love, but it's love that we never imagined coming in that way. So the fact that, love is a four-letter word, so often, in the English language, it's a beautiful language, but only one word for love, that makes it difficult. It means many, many things. So what we are working on and discovering within ourselves and in others is the major arcana in the Tarot. And today we are looking and exploring at the card number 14, which is Temperance. Now, this is not necessarily for divination purposes or foretelling. This is for looking and using this particular card or any one of the major arcana as a talisman, as a guide, as an image, and perhaps as something you need. I need temperance. I need to balance these two because this is getting me crazy, and I've been obsessing, and that gerbil's been out of his mind running around in our heads and in our hearts and in our lives, and we need to get a balance. And the balance is, what is balance? It's when there are equal and opposites flowing, not in battle with one another. So we can have in the there's a wonderful little quote from the Talmud, and it's that, every blade of grass has its angel that bends over it and whispers, grow, grow. So we have that too. So the card or the image, now when you go on Pinterest, there's like so many fabulous images of these different major arcana, and of course pick the one that appeals to you, or have somebody buy you a deck of cards, because one needs to be gifted a deck of tarot cards, and that's the tradition, and we like tradition because it has great wisdom in it. So the Temperance is really an image of an angel, your angel, and you're asking, beseeching, sometimes on your hands and knees, praying your heart out for an intervention, something greater than yourself. Now, when you call on the invisible forces for something greater than yourself, the first time it enters, you usually don't understand it. It's like, but it didn't happen the way I wanted it. No, it always happens a far greater way. And see, that's how we learn to live into the question. And, of course, the question is, what is love? And it's not just the nice feelings, it's all the profound feelings of eros, of everything that makes the world and the universe flow and move. So the Temperance card we can use, certainly when we want to get in touch with the heavenly alchemist, the one who transforms. Now, for those of you that are into the language of alchemy, alchemy starts with what's called the negredo, the blackening, the depression, and the nasty side of us, the not so good. Of course, we usually see that nasty side in the other. And then when there's enough maturity, we can at least ask the question, where does this live in me? And it won't be exactly, but there'll be an essence of it. Or You'll dream of it. Some people are natural dreamers. Dreams in the world of dream. My soul loves dreams. So there's always something going on, and so the first hour of every morning is in honoring kind of the angel of dreaming that comes in. And very often I have no idea what's going on. Sometimes I get an insight while I'm half asleep and between the worlds and writing the dreams down. But certainly, now when I do at the end of the month, I kind of like look at it as a full book, a full episode, and I start seeing the patterns. All right. So that's also what temperance helps us with. What is this pattern? What is this angel of temperance? How is it showing me, or any one of us, what it really is trying to say to us? So, angels they're seen as winged messengers from heaven. And they're meaning psychologically that they represent inner experiences of a holy or numinous nature which connect man with archetypal world of the unconscious. These winged visions appear in our mundane lives as crucial moments, subtly bringing new insights and revealing new dimensions of experience. So when we're starting to feel that, now very often that comes in pure chaos. Chaos isn't negative, it's chaos. And within the chaos is the intrinsic order. If we can not freak or say, okay, I'm going to give myself 15 minutes to lose my cookie. And I time it. Roll around the floor, scream and yell, rip, at myself like, oh, God, what is this? What do you want from me? I mean, you're getting on my nerves. It's like, yeah, right. So whatever that is, and then that's it. Then you go to work with the mess. And you're not cleaning up the mess because to clean up the mess, you think you know better. Sit with the mess. It's ay, ay, ay. Feel and have empathy and compassion for that part of yourself that really doesn't know. Now, sometimes it's the inner child, the wounded one, doesn't know because it's wounded and it can't see past the wound. But the other aspect of the child archetype is divine. It knows everything. See, and that's the trippy part and the wonderful part, about the Jungian work and certainly about the esoteric. It will give you the road, the path, the hint. But it moves, it's living. So at one point, like I said, it could be the chaos of the wounded one, the little one, and we're viewing the issue or the problem from the wounded child and can't get out of our own way. Why would you ask a baby with a boo-boo to help you with an adult problem? The kid comes up because that one always thinks it's their fault no matter what. And then you explain, no, darling. Maybe some bad things happen to you, but you're not bad. And you go sit and you go play because I'm going to call on the angels to help me with this, all right? And this angel of temperance. See, because in the temperance, it's being able to see the chaos or experience the chaos without being in the turbulence of the emotion of it. It's like after something blows up and then it all falls. Well, as it's blowing up, it's like, oh, Lordy, this is never going to be the same. Well, you got that one right. Well, you're on the right path with that. And then everything collapses and you start to see things and piece things together or something gets broken. Sit with that brokenness. Look at it. See the pattern it makes. Meditate on it. This once was a teapot, and now it's going to become a fairy house with all these broken pieces. Or I'm going to throw it away and start all over again. So the temperance is, it helps us with the ideas of the divine. It's infinite. We can't outdo the divine, ever. Which is very hard on the ego, because the ego really wants to be God. Can't be. So these angels that come in this transcendent function, which the temperance card could be also, and they personify the coming into consciousness of something new arising from the deep unconscious. So let's say you kind of feel something's happening. Usually people, when they feel something that's uncomfortable or they don't know, a signal is sent out for fear. Now, fear doesn't tell the truth. It just responds. But if we can wait a little bit and go like, wow, something wants to come up that I really don't know about, but obviously I should have the good manners to allow it to come up from within, because it's far greater, because the collective unconscious is the mind of God. See, our personal unconscious is how we take that in and how we experience it. But the collective unconscious, I mean, that's aligned with infinity. That's how huge it is. So when we need to get in touch with something, or we have, or we need a skill, or we need to know a strength about ourselves that we didn't know we have, which is usually why disasters occur, you're either going to sink or swim, or you're going to die trying. What you lack in talent, you can make up with enthusiasm. But it's about staying in relationship. The first is, I'll never overcome this. This is far greater. Yep, that's right. This is far greater than you've ever been till this moment. But now, Psyche, or your angel, or the collective unconscious wants to come through, up and through and around and down, and show you another possibility, another way. So we don't have to criticize people, especially children. We can just say, there's another way. And most of the time, because children have such a delightful curiosity, and they know there's another way, that's just the way they know, they're going to follow you. And then you ask them, do you know another way? Yes, I know another way. It's like secret doorways in and out of consciousness or the divine. So this is what this temperance card can do. It can bring us in relationship to the ideas of the divine. Many of us struggle with what is our purpose. But what they're really asking is like, what's my job and what's my purpose look like, and how do I live that on the earth? And the purpose of intention is the awareness of our design, our living divinity, of where we really come from. That's purpose. The rest is what we want to do with that purpose. But a lot of times people don't like their design because they don't understand their magnificence. Or they look at other people, or they get caught into the branding that's in the world. Oh, no, to be a female, you do this, and a man does that. Well, that's all up in the air. That's all changing. So when we need to dialogue and have a living relationship to the other within, there is always this other. The temperance card is encoded to help us contact that. And so when we meditate that, or look at it, or just walk around with our lucky card for the week, all right? Or, I always get excited when I see a penny because the tradition with that, like just on the ground, is that, that's your angel throwing you a penny, and since pennies are copper, copper is the metal of Venus, so it's like a kiss. So I have a jar with all my found angel pennies, and it just delights me because I see the symbol, and that's the beauty of the language of symbolism. Everything does really mean something far greater than we could ever imagine. So the Temperance card helps you get those ideas from the collective unconscious into the conscious mind. And often when we're in a state of conflicting feelings or ideas or opinions, they're always the negative animus or negative anima. There is no warmth of humanity in opinions. They just have it on the highest authority, and it is usually hearsay. And it's not one of my hooks. When someone is very opinionated, I don't have a hook to correct them, because then that means, we're in an opinion battle. And it's not that I don't have strong views, God knows, and holy beliefs. Of course I do, until, that changes. I just don't get hooked. Watch, because this afternoon I'll be hooked and screaming out of my mind as I say that, as I tempt the gods, right, for more teachings. But this is what it is. If somebody has a big opinion, to have it, keep it, mazel tov. Well, who cares? Because it's not coming from that place in their being. Now, of course, sometimes people's opinions can really have a lot to do with, the quality of your life. So you need to be able to definitely not hook and outsmart. And that's what we call in the Temperance card. It says, no, there's another way. Don't give this any energy. So, the psychic energy that we have, so often when we're exhausted, we feel exhausted, we're not connected to the psychic energy. The energy that psyche produces, not necessarily prophetic energy, although that is one of the qualities of psychic energy. So when we need that, we recognize, oh, dang, this is beyond my comprehension. Call on the Temperance card and look at that and be still with it and see it's moving two opposites together, but there's an internal flow. Or imagine that angel within you and what it would tell you and what it would do. It certainly would give you a feeling of being still. Now, still isn't dead, it's just still. Still is a quietness. You can hear the divine. You can hear your soul. You can hear your angel of temperance. And even though the symbol of temperance is more impersonal in many ways, as angels are, they're angels of light. They don't have a dog in this fight, but they are there to assist you. So when we're working with this in alchemy, to temper also means to bring to a suitable or desirable state by blending or mixing. Temperance can also be excesses. Excesses in our behavior, excesses in the way we think, excesses in what we want. How many times do we really get what we want? Let's say it's an object, okay, and really use it until it's completed, and then get another one. Halfway through, the desire within ourselves the part that we're really not relating to, then says, oh, well, I'll get something shiny and new, and that will shut you up. No. What is really going on before we turn the desire into the object of our attentions? It's like, what really is needed here? Let's say, for instance, being still. See, I know my nature. I can get about 2 days out of extroversion, being out in the world, and I love it, having a great time, chatting with friends. I get to my friends and my family. And then it's okay, that's enough, and then I need to be still for a day or two, go internally, stay at home. Hopefully the goddess Hestia arrives, who's the one that helps you kind of putter around and get little things done, or just being still, or reading something that is internal, or dancing or playing. And sometimes I play dress up all by myself just because it's fun. Be an audience. So the temperance also, it's the trials and it's the temptations that you're currently experiencing. And they need to lead you towards integration, or what's called the middle way, or the path of moderation. So in acting in moderation, modem in the middle, your fears are conquered, and there's a kind of purity that shines forth. Now, the purity isn't the limited version of without sin, okay? Although that's interesting, because if it's without, it's not, there's no mark. It hasn't been marked. It's new. And it's that new, young part of you that hasn't been marked by anything, and that has great beauty in it. And so when you're in a period of growth or stretching yourself spiritually through allowing inner growth, you'll arrive at a period of profound realization. But we need to give ourselves the time and the space for this mystery. So part of the mystery is the serpent, which is also an angel, all right, of temptation, is the Holy One, and it delivers us into liberation. Remember, the path to integration comes through the doorway of our inferior function, not the part where we're super-duper talented at, or we know that we know. It comes from the little wounded, goofy part. So when something happens in the inferior function, really pay attention. That is the call to wholeness, or the holiness, or one of the ways through. So it's in sacrificing. So it's when the wounded one, or the one we least know about ourselves, that's the ticket. That's where the messages come from. So when these messages are trying to surface, or you want to help them surface, not force them, relate to them. Gee, I wonder what that is. What could that mean? Not, oh my God, what does that mean? When it's, oh my God, what does that mean? You're already filled with fear. You already have an opinion. You're already being run ragged by the same old dog that got you there. Instead of saying, wow, I really need to be in the presence almost of a child when they just look at something and they're in awe.
Progressive presents Mindfulness with Flow.
You are a mighty fortress of supreme knowledge. Progressive Direct has not only revealed their rates, but those of their competitors. If you were any more in the know, you would be drowning in, the know.
Compare Progressive Direct rates with competitors' rates, because knowledge is power. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. Vary based on how you buy. Vary based on how you buy. Vary based on how